The doctor said he was showing early signs of gangrene. Hello, snipers. Welcome to the Not For Radio podcast. We are your hosts, Duncan Hyde, Jay Reeve. Good to have you tuned in this fine Wednesday afternoon. Yes, we realise episodes not normally dropping on Wednesday, but it's a short week here in New Zealand, so we're powering on through before we go and celebrate Jesus. Is it? I always get those ones wrong. You know when people have died?
Yeah.
Is it still a celebration?
Yeah.
Or commemoration?
Is it Easter? Like, in this, we asked this, and this is, in all honesty, I'm not checking the internet. I know that I could type it in, but I'd just rather fucking crowdsource the answer to this. Is everybody got Easter this weekend across the globe? No matter where you are in the world, everyone agrees that this is Easter weekend. No? Showboss Teagues is saying no.
I don't reckon.
See, then, what a fucking pile of shit that is. Apparently the bloke died now. Well, not in this country. They've shuffled it around for commercial purposes.
No, they shuffle it around so you don't have a million long weekends in a row. Would that be why?
Anyway.
Or have we shuffled around so we can punch up against Anzac Day so then we can do what we're doing next week and take out the week off?
Well, sometimes it cycles in our favour. Anywho. On the pod today, Dunc finishes up, as he often does, with a would ya, and what to do when you're 50 to make sure that you are living the fucking dream at 80.
Yes.
This is a fact.
Also, as well, we go into State of Origin chat. That's rugby league, a little bit of rugby league chat. Someone's asking us why we support the team we do. So we go into quite depth as to why we support the Queensland Maroons.
A little bit of dick chat in and around shrinkage, and how big your dick has to be to fit inside a drink bottle and become a Scotch thistle, whilst also talking about the great white teeth of a bandsaw.
Yeah, real life saw movie. Fucking grim. Those things are so gross. It's a bow saw. It's the
Bow
one
saw.
with a bow. Oh, yuck. They make short work of branches and short work of other things. Also, a lad's holiday to start things off. Getting fucking loose in Thailand. If you're not Sniper Elite, you can become Sniper Elite. You can unlock about 200 extra episodes of Not For Radio if you've appealed through all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Also, as well, if you're struggling to find any of the episodes, they will be on Rover, which is the app that you signed up through to get Sniper Elite if you are Sniper Elite, because there's been some shit going on in the background, and if you're missing any of the episodes, you can go to Rover, and they're all getting uploaded in there.
Yeah. Should be called Not For Radio. There's been some shit going on in the background. That should be our slogan, I reckon, eh?
We put that
Fuck me.
We put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, I reckon we actually probably will. But, yeah, for those of you that aren't Sniper Elite...
get in there.
Yeah, dive into it. It's, I would say, the South Pacific Peso, as it's currently trading, it's no better time to sign up. We're right up there with the Indonesian rupee at the moment in terms of world currency, so make the most of it. It's like less than the price of beer a month.
It should be
beer a month.
Maybe that should be the slogan. Become Sniper Elite. There's fucking worse things to spend your money on. I quite like that. Hey, enjoy the podcast.
Swaying drunks, not for cardio. What? I haven't had a drop, and I'll ask you to stay out of my personal business.
What do we got? More feedback.
Yeah, would you like me to read this from Ronnie Size?
Okay.
This is from Ronnie in Nevada, US of E. My twin brother went to the doctor for his annual physical. After all the customary checks, the doctor tells him, okay, last part, you know the drill. Lift your gown up for a bit for me. Lift your gown up a bit for me as he sits on his stool and rolls closer for the final examination. My brother grabs the bottom of the gown, pulls it up to his chest. The doctor chuckles and says, doesn't have to be quite that high, as he rolls in and gets a handful of testicles.
Been a while since I've had someone touch my nuts.
It's quite weird.
Like a stranger.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's very different when it's a stranger, the way they react. Because your testicles can move.
Yeah, they can.
And they do move when a stranger touches them. They're like, go away.
If just to stop down on this point, if my wife grabs my nuts and we're not in the throes of eroticism, then they fucking panic like they're just going to get popped like a tadpole in a fucking trough that's not meant to be there.
And I honestly reckon that comes from falling on your bike bar as a youngster a few times. You're very protective after you've fucking felt the extreme pain of landing on the bar of a bike.
Yeah. If she cups my nuts, I literally just break into hysterical laughter, like nervous hysterical laughter. I'm like, and I can't fucking stop it until she lets go. And then I'm like, oh, fucking stop doing that. It's really fucking stressing me out. So what do you think I'm going to do? I was like, fuck knows. That's why I'm panicking.
It's like Jay's version of catnip. Same thing happens every time.
Yeah, it is. It makes me sweat thinking about it. Anywho, in a brief moment of panic, my brother lets go of the gown and watches helplessly as it drapes over the doctor's head, who is now trapped inches away from my brother's cock and balls. He flails his arms and head furiously, trying to escape the man-made hell, but the harder he fights, the more jostling he is doing, and he gets a few dick grazes across his cheeks, arms, hands, and forehead. He finally breaks himself free, makes a few check marks on his paper, and leaves without saying another word or making eye contact. My brother gets dressed and gets the fucking hell out of there, and he never spoke of it until years after. Up the waz.
Yeah, okay. I thought there was going to be a Dutch oven. Mildly disappointed, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I thought the
That would have been so rogue. Imagine throwing it back over the doctor's head and doing it far. That's hectic.
Or if you go, God, dropped it, and then all of a sudden you just felt the wetness. You go, oh,
Still
Jesus
funny,
Christ.
though. Not many people would throw it back over the doctor, so I'll give you that. I'm not going to completely write off your yarn. Let's do a war story. I'll start today.
Okay.
Snipers, ready up. It's war story time.
Okay, this is from Big TC. Evening, fellas and fellette. Love the story about old mate's week in hell in Bali, but I've got a friend whose week in Thailand gives his week in Bali a run for its money. Back in the early 2010s, my friends Tim, Mark and Francis and I decided to go travel around Southeast Asia for 3 months. Our first stop was Thailand, Koh Phangan, and the full moon party. Thus commenced the worst week of Francis's life. First up, while standing on our hotel balcony, which was a rickety old piece of shit, Francis went to knock a football to me and promptly fell through the floor, landing on a beam with his plums. I already love this story. His feet were dangling through a restaurant ceiling.
How shit are those setups? Eh? Like, yo, fucking hell.
Which everyone in the restaurant found hilarious. Next, we decided to hire quad bikes. Only Tim and Mark had ever ridden motorbikes before, so Francis and I played it safe, and we went on the back. After 20 minutes, Fran decided he'd like to drive, so Tim and I left him to it while grabbing a pint. I'd not even raised my pint to my lips when we heard the unmistakable sound of a motor accident, followed by screaming. We ran around the corner and found Fran on the floor next to a garage door with a large quad-shaped dent in the shutters. The exhaust had taken a lot of skin off Fran's foot, and a local Thai lady had come to his aid, rubbing iodine into his fresh wounds, hence the screams. The next evening, we had booked a pool party, which Fran was adamant he'd be okay to attend. We put a plastic bag over Fran's skinless foot and used some gaffer tape to make it watertight. More on this later.
I've been there, done that. It ends up just being a fucking water balloon. It seems to just suck water in.
A couple of days later, we were out on a night. We were on a night out in Bangkok, and Fran's foot was, in his words, stinging like a bitch. As we went into a nightclub, Fran tripped, stumped his skinless toes on the stairs. Ay, ay, ay. He proceeded to scream and punch the nearest wall, breaking his wrist in 2 places. Oh, Fran's having a doozy. It was at this exact point that Fran declared he'd had enough and was going back to Liverpool 1 week into our 3-month adventure. Fuck this place, I'm out. Upon returning home, he sought further medical advice on his foot. The doctor said he was showing early signs of gangrene.
Wow.
Followed by a lot of treatment, his foot was okay in the end, but emotional scars, well, they'll never fucking heal. Up the waz, all the best, Tony.
Far out.
That's good, Tony. I like the
Shit,
cut of your jib, mate. That will mean nothing to you because you're from, I like the cut of your drywall.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound the same.
The cut of your jib refers to the sail on a boat.
Oh, it does too.
Yeah, that's right.
Fuck,
So,
I forgot about that.
They basically fucking were one of the first people out here. They'll know.
Yeah, you know, you populated this island.
Yeah, you colonialist savages. This one here, more war story from me.
Reload and focus. Another war story inbound.
This also from over that part of the world.
Okay.
This part's bonny old Scotland. Under the category of A&E, here's a yarn from Scotland, fellas. This goes back to the late 80s. When I was a young lad, Mum says to me, Nana needs you to do something for her. I don't know about you guys, but when my nan asked for something, you dropped whatever the fuck you were doing and went to see what it was she needed. So as she only lived down the street, off I went down to Nana's. Walked in, asked her what was up, and she said that there was a tree in the back of the house that needed the branches trimmed and they were hitting her bedroom window. It was waking her up throughout the night. So I went out to have a look, and while doing this, the old woman next door came out and said, "Can you cut them at my side as well?" "No problem," I said. I was just going to go and get the saw, to which she said, "There's one in my shed." It was Jimmy's saw. He is her late husband. Oh. Not thinking about the fact that he's been dead 6 years, I said, "No worries." She went and got the saw. One of what we call a bow saw, you know, the one fucking teeth like a great white shark.
They do. Fuck, they're hectic.
Yeah. But this blade was bright fucking orange with rust. I climb up this tree with a saw, cut the branch down at Nana's side, then lean over to cut the neighbour's side, grabbing on with my left hand and cutting with my right when it happened.
He's not going to cut the branch that he's hanging onto, is he?
Oh, fuck. Oh. The key in all of these situations, if it has teeth, keep your fucking body away from it. In every situation.
How
General rule of
bad?
thumb.
Keep reading. How bad can this be?
The fucking saw jumped out of the cut and right into my left hand, right on the knuckle. Wow. In this instant, it turned into white flesh with a touch of pink. The bone of my knuckle was visible and blood started to pour. I dived down the tree, wrapped it up in a towel, and off to A&E I fucked. The doc asked what happened, and when he gave it a look, he says, "Oh, that's going to need some stitches." I say, "That's no problem." He also says I need a tetanus shot, and I don't know about New Zealand, but over here, it's the only injection administered by a fucking javelin.
Bloody bastards of things, the tetanus shots, aren't
Why
they?
are they so fucking
I don't
massive?
know.
I was thinking knitting needle. Javelin, far better descriptor. So pants down, and there it is. Bang! The javelin is right in my left buttock as the doc then went to stitch my now not so sore hand. There was an almighty scream like someone was getting murdered, and it kept getting louder and louder and louder. The doc excuses himself to see what's going on. Next thing, he walks into the cubicle across from mine, followed by an old boy carrying his assumed grandson covered by a towel. The kid was the scream. The kid was laid on the bed, towel removed, and there it was. This lad, who was about 7 or 8, this lad, who was about 7 or 8, had his little fella stuck in the top of a plastic bottle.
In the top. Oh, okay.
He's got himself the old prison vagina, just giving it the old pump, breath of life, and just fucking sucked it up in there.
This is one of the scenarios where the blood will go in, but won't come out. So it's like basically turning into a wine cork.
Yeah, it's just basically just a homeless person's cock ring.
Be a good nickname for him. Hey, wine cork Dick. Give us some money.
Corky. I could see from across that was the top of the thing looked like the fucking head of a thistle. A Scotch thistle. Shit, that's good. And he was screaming, "Holy murder." The doc looked over at me and tried to stifle a laugh. He reached into the cupboard, pulled out a scalpel, and cut the bottom of the bottle. It must have been instant relief as the kid stopped screaming and started sobbing. The doc told him to be more careful in the future and then came back over to me, still trying not to laugh. 4 stitches later and I was back off to Nana's to finish the job. I walked around the back of the house only to see her and Nancy drinking tea, smoking a fag and looking at the massive tree which was now lying horizontal in the garden. What? My Nana, who was 69 years old, and Nancy, who was 73, cut the fucker down from 2 foot from about 2 foot above the ground. They looked at me and said, now that's how you fucking do it. Young bucks 0, pensioners 1. Go far, go long, but be careful where you go hard.
Oh, jeez. Great war
It's
story.
great tale there.
war story.
Stevie Falkirk. Thank you very much, mate.
How do you think they got the neck of the bottle off his todger? Because when he's reached over the scalpel, he's released the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure instantly just fucking lets it off. So it won't be, it's not like his...
Nah, because it'll be like a cock ring.
The kid's 7 or 8 years old.
Still gets blood going into your pecker.
Yeah, totally. But if you're talking, I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of 7-year-old cocks, but I reckon that most of them would be able to fit into a...
When you were 7.
Yeah, would be able to fit into a drink bottle and then out of it. So once the pressure's off the top of it, so the actual...
I
it's
had
the
dad
pump.
dick
It's like
from 5, mate, so it would have been a real issue for me.
Are you saying that you've had the same dick size as when you were 5?
No, it's changed colour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and size, like, quite a bit.
Just got real elbow skin coloured all of a sudden.
How's this? Wait, so... should I tell this yarn? Yeah, fuck it. Wait, so when we went swimming in one of the rivers over the weekend on our hike,
Yeah.
we got out and I heard one of the mums explaining to one of the boys, she's like, oh, have a look, your penis, it'll be, because we're laughing about shrinkage and stuff,
Yeah.
the boys were, the dads. And she was saying to one of the her son, just being like, oh, it'll be shrinkage, have a look, sort of thing. The boys having a laugh about it up there, sort of thing. And he looks and he goes, no, it's the same size. I was like, oh, motherfucker.
You lucky son of a bitch.
He did the jackpot.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. Like, I mean, obviously not to descend into dick chat, but we've spoken about this before. Brick Dick and my mate, the Pipe, who we ice bath with on a regular basis. Like, we're 3 minutes and 3 degrees. Like, this is fucking, like, it's inverted for me at this stage. Well, at best, it looks like the fucking...
Just a pile of skin.
It looks like whatever the equivalent of a dew claw is on a chicken. You know, the fucking little talon off the back with no fucking toenail. It's up to fuck all. Basically looks like a maggot. And then he fucking hops out vacuum packed to the knee. Like,
yeah, which is just like a lot of us rely on blood flow, and he clearly doesn't.
Yeah, but he's not even
there's a lot of structure.
Yeah, I was like, that's a lot of, and I reckon, without having gone into too much detail with him, that when he just gets a full Raj Mahal,
It'll just go
that
up.
just goes, or
Wouldn't
just
get any
fucget
bigger.
just goes in a direction as opposed to.
You
actually
get a
going.
half lob too, you'd imagine. You wouldn't otherwise you'd pass out.
Fuck yeah, drain him, absolutely drain him.
Be like that bloke with the video where he released yesterday, not for radio, the one huffing, doing whippets or whatever.
Yeah, just fucking
Gets a half lob and just dunk, timber. A little bit of feedback from Hayden Diamond. Okay, so I've got a great State of Origin question for you guys. State of Origin, of course, the premier game of rugby league in the world. It's Queensland versus New South Wales. It's better than the internationals.
Yeah.
It shits on the internationals. Why is it that you support the state that you support in the series, which is, for myself and Jay, the Maroons, which is Queensland? Like, have you had a family play for that team, or is it all your friend group support that team, so you just follow sheep and do the same? I've been in New South Wales since I've known what State of Origin is. My great uncle played for New South Wales and the Kangaroos and the Manly Sea Eagles back in the 50s and 60s. That's why in back New South Wales, it's a family team. Back in New South Wales, it's a family team. What's your reasoning? Because they win? So back them, question mark, up the fucking wires.
I am 42 years old, and there was when I basically first heard about State of Origin, I remember I would have been 5 years old. We watched it at the Rahudu Rugby Club, which is now called Coastal Rugby in Taranaki, and there was, at that stage, a parochial support for Queensland. And at that stage, they'd been fucking thumped 5 years in a row by New South Wales. That was like the glory days in I'm talking 88, 89. And so from that point on, it was my favourite players played for it, Wally Lewis and Mal Meninga and those sort of athletes that were in there. And I just basically committed to it. So you pick a State of Origin team and a state, and you support them, and you support the All Blacks, and that's basically all there was. And then in later years, then we'd have friends that played for friends of the show, like Steve Price, Jake Lillyman, Big Bull. Those are probably my closer tie to it, and they're mates. I don't know all the other Kiwi lads that have played footy have never made those teams, but Pricey, Bull, and who's more recently been in there? There's another one. I think last year there's fucking
Reece Walsh.
1v1. No, not Walshy. I can't remember. But then, that would be my rationale behind it. That's why I support them. So, yeah, everyone's like, you bandwagon jumper. Like, it's not. Like, when I was following them, I actually bring up the years and how they went.
Oh, this is brutal. I remember I was supporting the Broncos. That was my club side before the Warriors had a team and had family in Queensland. And it just seems like every year more and more family moves to Queensland. I've got both my sisters over there, so obviously all their kids and stuff. We've got 1, 2, 3 lots of aunties and uncles over there. And then it made sense if I was supporting the Broncos to then support Queensland. And then I was the same thing. Every fucking year we would get smashed by the Blues when I was in high school.
Okay, so this
sucked.
Yeah, so this is...
And then we won 8 in a row.
Yeah, so it went basically 89, probably 88, 89, Queensland, New South Wales, Queensland, and then New South Wales on a 3-year stripe, then Queensland, New South Wales 2-year stripe, Queensland draw, New South Wales, Queensland, and then from 2002 to 05, New South Wales, and that's when it turned. 2006 through to 2013, a fucking thunder pumping Queensland era, and that's when they reckoned that we jumped on board. Mate, I was at university by then. Like, the ship had sailed. We'd be watching that in Bali.
Yeah, it sucked.
So, yeah, and if you look
it sucks supporting them. But we did, and we didn't change. So, to answer your question, we've been supporting them for a long time, and that's our reasons.
Yeah, and I just wanted to know, I think the splits still are like fucking pretty much 50-50. Like,
yeah,
in
it's
terms
very
of,
close to.
Yeah, in terms of the games, who's won what and who's won what, it's all very, very much of a muchness. Total wins. Yeah, no, so yeah, it is. Queensland's won 24, New South Wales won 17.
Series?
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be closer than that because Queensland have come back in the last few years.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to play this. It's been a while since we played this, but it's always a good reminder.
Do you know what happens after your funeral? In a few short hours, the crying will die down, and your family will be busy making arrangements for food or drink. Some of your relatives will start discussing current events over coffee, and some people will call your family to tell them that they can't make it in person because of an emergency. Your employer will begin to search for your replacement. In a few days, your children will go back to work because their bereavement leave has run out. In a month, your spouse will be watching a comedy on TV and start to laugh. You'll be forgotten at an astonishing pace. If people will forget you so easily, then who are you living your life for? You spent your whole life worrying about what people will think about you, and the sad truth is, they don't. So live your life for you. Remember, life is too short to be lived for others' approval. Embrace your true self.
Embrace your true self.
Hard
Yeah. He's not wrong, Jordan Peterson.
Isn't that just a weird concept, eh? Yeah. And it's like, I mean, we're only coming to the age where we're going to have to deal with it. We've had mates that are starting to deal with it. But when parents die, it's like all the shit you work your whole life for, and that's really important to you. And it gets to the end, and you cark it, and then your wife carks it, like our parents, and then we swoop in there and we're like, what did they have all this fucking shit for?
Yeah.
Jesus. Now I've got to order a skip. No one's going to want this shit. That's fucking a 40-year-old microwave. Why is that still going? Like, look at that TV. It's fucking 30 years old as well. Like, and then it just becomes a problem. But it's all of that stuff. The people that own it worked really hard for them. And at one point in their life, that was the most important purchase in their life at that time. And you get to the end and it's just a pile of shit that no one else cares about.
Yeah, I was reading, as I'm chipping through, the 5 different types of wealth by Sahil Bloom at the moment. I was just reading how there's a longitudinal study done by Harvard University, a subset of people that were from not that well-to-do families, and then the complete opposite end of the subset was the people that are from very wealthy families. And all of these different things, like they pull so much data from it. I think it had been running for, at this stage, like 30 odd years or something. And so not a bad data set. of a teenage group. It's nothing on the Otago uni study, but it's still the Dunedin study, as it's called. But this is pretty impressive. They catch up with them like the Dunedin study and ask them all these questions. One of the biggest things that they pulled from this was a marker at 50. So your relationship health at 50, and that's with your partner, your employees or your employer, and your friends and any of the clubs that you're connected to. That is the most important time in your life to have solid relationships because of the impact that it has on your health at 80. Those people that had solid relationships at 50 breezed through their 80s and generally speaking into their 90s.
Wow.
Obviously some fucking car accidents or cancer or whatever it was for the most part. That's what sort of took them out. Those people that had shit relationships at their 50s generally didn't make it to their 80s.
Wow.
And that was the one determining factor. It wasn't wealth, it wasn't the health, it wasn't the food, and wasn't the place where they lived, any of that shit. It was their relationships. And I think that's where, if you are to be having a listen to this now and going, fucking, am I happy with what I'm doing in my job? Am I being the best father, daughter, son, fucking husband, whatever it is, where you fit into your family makeup and where you fit in your relationship makeup, and then your role within communities that you're a part of? Are you part of a sports team? If you're not part of a club, in any club, this is the year that they have suggested that you've got to double down. We've been through the wobbly shit COVID stuff. There has been a fracturing of people and their thought processes in and around what's all going on. But if there could be one thing that I would absolutely encourage you to do, it's get out and join a club and become part of it, become part of an organisation. Like, I'm talking, it could be fucking anything. Join a run club if you fucking love running. Join a fucking book club if you love reading. If you enjoy fishing, join a fishing club. If you enjoy boating, like, there is literally, I saw a fucking Auckland East.
Join a club.
Yeah. If you're a bad motherfucker, join a proper club.
Or you might have a club foot. You do a club foot club.
If you like swinging clubs, join a golf club.
Yeah.
These are all parts of communities that you, once you're a part of it, there is that shared dopamine where you are getting up and moving towards a goal. The oxytocin gets raised by doing activities with like-minded people. Serotonin and endorphins off the back of that are all things that add to having a really happy and healthy life. And acts of service, like, it's a massive one for giving you a little bit of purpose. When you do something for somebody else without being asked and without being paid for it, and do it out of the kindness of your heart, trying to improve somebody else's life, fuck, you feel good about it. And it has like a profound effect on your mood.
And same goes with mentioning this in the same breath, giving someone a compliment. It's the only thing that'll give you the endorphin boost as well as the person receiving it.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I've said it a couple of times. I don't know if I put it in the show notes before Showboss Teagues, but this I'll put it in. Sahil Bloom's five different types of wealth.
Oh, yes.
It's such a good read. Like, the first 10 pages, I was like, fuck.
Oh, he does this thing where he's talking about how many times you'll see your parents before you die.
Yeah.
And it's like when you go, like, it asks you how many times you see them a year now and how old are they, and it gives you an indication of how many more times and he was just fucking shocked by it because he saw his parents once a year and they were like 65. And he was like, I'm going to see my parents 15 more times before they die.
Yeah, which is fucking wild. I think there's like a brief, I'm sure that I sent it to my buddy Tricky, and it was like a brief synopsis of what the breakdown of the different types of wealth are, which is like, it doesn't take, I'll see if I can dig it back and find it. But it's such an impressive way, and I wish, it's one of those things I wish that I got. Here it is, here, fuck you, little beauty. So these are the 5 different types of wealth, super paraphrased and super relevant. So the first is time wealth. How many moments do you have with your remaining loved ones? This section teaches how to prioritize energy-saving tasks to unlock more time in the day. Because no motherfucker's got any more time than any other motherfucker in a day.
I know.
Yeah, 24 hours. And when someone goes, man, I'm busy, you just aren't dealing with your shit properly.
No, you might be busy, though.
Yeah. Social wealth. Who will be sitting in the front row at your funeral? Learn how to create deeper bonds and build a powerful network of humans around you. Mental wealth. What would your 10-year-old self say to you today? This teaches how to engage with purpose and spark constant growth. Physical wealth. Will you be dancing at your 80th birthday party? Get advice on how to maximize health and vitality through 3 simple principles. And finally, fucking turns out the one that no one really needs to give a fuck about at all, financial wealth. What is your definition of enough? Learn how to achieve financial independence and define your version of enough. Because interestingly on that, he went through and asked this massive broad range of people from, I don't know, the ages of 20 through to, I don't know, people in rest homes about to die. And one of the things that he came up with was like, when he asked all these people in rest homes, what are the most important things? They never mention money at all. Because once you get to a point where you realise that
You can't buy health.
Yeah, that it's
And you
sort
can't
of
buy
done.
time.
And he goes, if you were to reframe it, so a 20-year-old is a billionaire. A 20-year-old has more than billions of seconds left in their life. Someone like Warren Buffett at $196 billion valuation, he's in his 90s, he has fuck all time left. And if you said to him, would you trade all the money that you've got right now for another billion seconds and vitality of youth? And he would swap it in a heartbeat. And then you ask the young people, would you trade the amount of time that you've got left for those billions? 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, fuck yeah, 10 years, 196 bill, let's go, boo-boo. Just very interesting. He's a really, really, really good way of putting it all together. And a whole bunch of stop down and work on and write shit down out of it as well. We'll put it in the show notes. It's very good.
It's 5 very good pillars for measuring happiness and success in your life, and it is super personal because you get to the end of a chapter and you write out stuff, and when do you ever fucking do that? It's like a little bit of healthy journaling.
Yeah, and he's got these little matrix that you basically put it in. It draws these different shapes, and it's kind of like the preferred shape of where you are. And if you're being brutally honest, fucking mine just looks like a fucking car that's been in a crash. You know, like.
Yeah, one of the other things was quite good, and it was good for us because we're relatively busy with work stuff. It was like when choosing whether or not to take an opportunity.
Yes.
Like, does it excite you? Does it excite you if it took, still excite you if it took twice as long and you got paid a quarter of what you thought you were going to get paid?
Yeah.
And if the answer's still yes, then it's probably a yes, you want to do that. And if there's no anywhere along the line there, it's fuck off. And also as well, when committing to stuff in the future, and this happens all the time for us, we're shockers at going, and we're getting better, but going, yeah, mate, we'll do that sort of thing, and then it comes along and we're like, why the fuck did I say yes to that?
That's all part of, it's another study called the yeah fuck study. So you go yeah now, and then when it turns up, you go fuck.
Yeah, and so what you're supposed to do in that one, you go, if it was this weekend, would I say yes? And if the answer's no, then you say no in the future as well, because you always tell yourself you're going to have more time in the future. Don't.
Yeah, it seems that we turn 24 hours in current time into 1,000 hours in future time. Yeah, oh, man, I got so much time.
I want to do one more thing. Just a quick one. Yeah, nah, would you?
Snipers, prepare your questionable life choices. It's would ya?
You are guaranteed to live to 100 in perfect health. But from now on, Jay, you constantly fart all day. Every day. You can't hold them in. They're loud, they're smelly, and completely unpredictable.
Nah.
Are you taking the deal?
Fuck it off. I don't want to live to 100, even in perfect health. Perfect health, you're like,
mate,
what's perfect health?
Perfect health is doing what you're doing now. So you can go out on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday and bend till 3 a.m. at 100.
But also,
you're with the only granddad ripping in a tearing.
Everybody that I know of that age, then you're hanging out with like, imagine being 100 and then just hanging out with like 40-year-olds because you're at that level of health.
Oh,
and
man,
to be fair, I'm not that healthy now.
Do you know what's quite a tough watch is seeing how often my parents are going to funerals now?
Yeah, that's your fucking, that is your catch-up.
Oh, my gosh.
And you stand around and you say the same shit and you're like, oh, wait, well, I wouldn't have picked it. Who's next cab off the rank? You know, bloody shit, the sandwiches are getting a bit, fuck, they're not what they eat. Like, then you just start having that shit chat. I don't even reckon I'll be going to many people's funerals. Fuck it.
Well, you probably should have caught up beforehand.
Exactly.
It's a little bit pointless going to funerals.
I mean, obviously, there's...
It's nice to, turn up and give moral support to the people that are hurting the most.
But if you haven't been there, it's kind of one of those things, yeah. I don't know. Everyone has their
Jay
own different
talks about
take.
game. I reckon you'll go to funerals. Too much free piss, mate. Fucking be
probably
real.
will be. Yeah, probably will be, actually.
All right, that'll do for today. Thank you very much for listening to the Not For Radio podcast. You snipers are our fucking favourite. If you're not Sniper Elite, you can jump on another couple hundred episodes, plus get, it's like 200 episodes. I think you unlock, might even be over, it must be over that now. There's 2 a week you get extra. So if you peel through the free ones, for the price of a beer a month, you can support the podcast and help us continue to make great content like this. If this was what you consider great content. But you got to the end, so you probably do like it.
Yeah, sliding scale. You know, the next one could be better. It's kind of like surfing. You could go in now, but you're going to fucking wait for the next one.
Also, some of our Not For Radio newfound sunglasses collab we did. Available, link in the show notes as well. Have a ripping rest of your Wednesday. Go well, go long, go deep. Up the wires.